After moving to the UK, I have been vegan ever since. When we came back, another documentary came our way. Samad and I looked at each other and we were like, yeah, never again. And honestly, this has opened us up to a whole new avenue of ingredients and cooking. It's like the creative brief changed. We were learning something new and having a different adventure, which obviously generated new cells in our brain. I've had much more variety of food on a plant-based diet than I did outside of it. Growing up, I ate more vegetarian dishes than I did meat. Pakistani vegetarian dishes are like super delicious. But when I started cooking myself, majority of the times it was chicken. Even in university, I would fry some chicken strips and throw in some vegetables. Occasionally, I ate beef. And I felt so morally supreme that I was buying grass-fed beef. But grass-fed beef is even more unsustainable than regular beef. Eggs had been a staple thing in my life forever. I loved eggs. Breakfast and eggs were synonymous. I couldn't imagine my life without them. And back in university, when I went vegan, I was nervous that breakfast is now going to become boring. It ended up being the only exciting meal of my day. Peanut butter banana toast, peanut butter strawberry toast, avocado toast, smoothie bowls. This plant-based journey has been fun, exciting, therapeutic. Of course, there are challenging moments, especially if I'm watching Pakistani food tours. I am salivating, like I miss that taste. But there is nothing that cannot be recreated on a vegan diet. There is fake meat of all kinds, usually made from soya or other plant sources. There are companies creating clean meat. For example, they'll take cells from, let's say, a chicken, and they'll put those cells in their lab environment. And the cells think that they are still inside the chicken, so they continue to grow until there is a piece of meat. It has the same everything like an actual chicken, but no chicken is killed in its making. Lab-grown meat may sound unusual or weird, but it will consume less resources, like less water, less land, than actual meat. Personally, I enjoy cooking with vegetables like sweet potatoes, broccoli, butternut squash, courgettes, aubergine, or tofu, or lentils, beans, legumes, and desserts. There is no dessert that cannot be replicated on a vegan diet. There is vegan cheesecake, muffins, cookies, donuts, ice cream, Magnum. There's vegan Magnum. By the way, just because you are eating vegan does not automatically mean you're eating healthier. You still need to make that conscious choice as you need to do with any other diet. There is plenty of processed vegan food that you do not want to be eating every other day, including fake meat. Generally, sticking to whole foods is a better approach. One of the most exciting things of my plant-based journey is being introduced to dairy-free coffee. So oat milk, coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk. You know, if God comes to me and is like, hey Anam, chill out, have a cup of dairy cappuccino, I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks. Dairy-free coffee has been a game changer. Also dairy-free smoothies. Especially when you learn that cows only produce milk when they are pregnant. That milk is for the cow's baby, who is taken away from the mother so that she can get plugged into all sorts of machinery to pump that milk out for, surprise, surprise, human consumption. I don't want to support that anymore. I've done that for a majority of my life, but not anymore. I understand that if the cow is in my backyard, her baby is done drinking the milk, I can share some of that. In this scenario, I have a respectful relationship with the cow. She's my friend, we're buddies. But today's animal industry is such a massive, money-hungry corporation, especially in the West. A lot of documentaries use the United States as an example. because the environmental impact of its industry is ridiculous. And these are powerful people who don't want anything coming in the way of their business. To them, animal is not a living being who deserves dignity. To them, an animal is a source of money. Organic, free-range welfare, these are just more selling tactics, which I have fallen for in the past. I do realize that smaller countries have smaller businesses, or there are farmers who have done this for generations. But just because the United States is a major contributor to this unsustainable system, it cannot mean it is just their problem. It may feel unfair, but ultimately we are one planet. It is one Earth that we share together. The East is not separate from the West. They're not living on separate planets. I believe if we are Earth inhabitants, then it is our responsibility to educate ourselves on how our decisions, how our choices are affecting the planet. Just because something has been happening one way doesn't mean that is the only way to be. Everything is in flux. Culture, technology, fashion, everything is changing. Child marriages were accepted once. How about now? Female babies were buried alive. How about now? Those who did it, to them it was normal. It was their culture. To them it was okay. It's not accepted now, or it is criticized openly. Humans evolve, we awaken, we realize when something is not right, when something is off, something can be different. Different times call for different measures. People say that this is the way it has always been. Our ancestors ate meat, so it is in our DNA. Our ancestors, living as hunter-gatherers, only had one thing on their mind: survival. They're on the go, gathering fruits and berries. They come across a deer or a rabbit, they hunt it, kill it, and eat it. And that too, we don't have any killing weapons in our physiology. We cannot hunt or kill or shred with our bare hands. Carnivore animals have the tools within their physiology, the claws, the teeth, the stomachs to digest raw meat. We invented the tools to do it. It did not come naturally to us. But still, our hunter-gatherer ancestors hunting an animal versus a slave race of animals for 7 billion people, is it comparable? At the grocery store, picking up a piece of meat feels harmless. It feels easy. It feels right. Like this is the only way it should be. This is the way it has always been. But it hasn't been like this always. We woke up in this system and we are trained to not question much. Animals did not magically domesticate themselves for our convenience. We did that to them. They were not always living in farms to be slaughtered. We created those farms and made the animals obedient to us. We tampered with their natural lifespan to suit us. We used cruel practices to have them evolve for us. And now Earth has billions of livestock animals. And we are numb to it because we are programmed to believe it's natural. They've always been around. They're here for us to eat. That is their purpose. They're living their purpose. How can we call ourselves animal lovers while simultaneously killing them? Why do we get so upset when we see an injured dog, a dead cat, or a tortured donkey, when there are massive industries based on the systemic slaughter of other animals? We are trained to not even think about that. We don't want to know that. But it doesn't feel right to accept that, does it? We human beings, we are wired with compassion. We have that inner spark that lights up when we see a baby, or when we enjoy music, or when we are playing with a puppy. But where is our inner spark for a cow, or a chicken, or a lamb, who are living sentient beings, who are a reflection of the same divine essence that we are? Why should our compassion extend to some beings but not to others? We love funny dog videos, but not even pause when buying a piece of meat. That meat comes from a living being, capable of friendships and compassion, just like dogs, just like us. But they spend their lives in prison for us. for our taste buds. I'm not saying that the history of meat consumption is wrong and plant-based is right, or this is wrong and that is right. There is no right or wrong. That is not the point. The point is that we as earth beings have a responsibility to awaken to how our ideas, our beliefs, our choices, our decisions, our thoughts, our philosophies, how they impact everything else. Other humans, other animals, the environment, Earth, solar system, universe. What is our role in relation to all of this? What are we doing? How are we contributing? If we love Earth, and we want to see her survive beautifully and gracefully for us and the future generations, then we must awaken and question ourselves. We can complain about the system as much as we want to, but ultimately we need to change. The power is in the hand of the consumers. Do we want to support an industry that causes suffering to animals and earth? If you're now thinking that plants have feelings, they are alive, how is that moral? Everything on earth and in the universe comes from one intelligent source. So by that extension, everything is alive, including a brick, a book, or any other object. Everything has some level of consciousness. It's all atoms really. So yes, plants are alive, but they do not have the consciousness to feel suffering. They do not have the nervous system to register pain. Either way, a mango on a tree is alive. When it falls off a tree, it's still alive. When I'm eating it, it's still alive. You get what I'm saying? Like, there is no slaughter or death involved. Plants and fruits are alive regardless. And I understand that everyone is entitled to have their own experiences, to learn at their own pace. Earth is like free will. We can do what we want to, we can create what we want to, we can believe what we want to, we can experience what we want to. But at some point, we need to check if our actions are aligned with our inner spark, with the frequency of love, earth love, cosmic love, universal love, God love. We can decide if we want to be that frequency of love. And I doubt that frequency of love or that inner spark is going to encourage an industry of incarceration, exploitation, murder, and a big carbon footprint. And yes, almost every industry has its dark side. Child labor, fast fashion, cotton's environmental impact, palm oil, coal mines, sweatshops, and it can feel overwhelming, like this is the way the system has always been and we're stuck in this forever. But the system has not always been like this. If we got into the system, then we can get out of the system as well. But it's not going to happen overnight. The small changes that we make individually will over the years create an impact. You make these changes, you educate and inspire your friends, your family, your co-workers, and it dominoes from there. Personally, going on this plant-based journey has been one of the best things I've done for me. It's been a mental, physical, spiritual cleansing experience. Like, thank you, universe. I was that one person. Like, if I had $1 for every time somebody said to me, "Do you not eat?" I'd be a billionaire. Don't do that, guys. As a recipient of that feedback, it's not nice. At this point, being vegan for over 2 years, this is the healthiest I've been. No meat, no eggs, some occasional dairy when options are limited. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, lots of water, nuts, seeds. This is the strongest I've felt, and I don't remember the last time I was sick. I've had my tests done regularly and everything's within range. Obviously, diet is not the only thing. It needs to be complemented with mental and physical training, stuff that I've been speaking about in other videos. Also, fun fact, elephants, one of the largest land animals, vegan. Rhinoceros, hippopotamus, vegan. Horses, vegan. Cows themselves are plant-based. Gorillas, our cousin, vegan, except for the odd insect they may eat. Another fun fact, at my last job, I was the only vegan in my entire office. I think it strengthened my will even more. Of course, there are moments of drooling and temptations, especially with desi Pakistani food, but I ask myself, are my taste buds superior than the life of a chicken? Am I superior than any other being? Do my cravings justify disrespecting Earth and its species? Can I survive and live a healthy, balanced, active life without taking the life of another being? Yes, I can. And I'm aware that just because plant-based eating worked for me doesn't mean it will work for everyone. It may not well be for everyone, but it may well be worth a try. But don't let me decide that for you. Ask yourself what resonates with you, and trust yourself, your inner wisdom, your gut, your intuition to guide you, advise you. And I understand this could be a sensitive subject for some because of religion. If you're observing the religious sacrifice, then maybe you could observe a vegan week or a meat-free month. If there is no earth, then there is not going to remain any religion anyway. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the spirit of religious sacrifice is not slaughtering animals in the street and spilling their blood everywhere and dumping their leftovers as garbage. That animal deserves respect even in death. That sacrifice is sacred. Think about that when you're eating the animal, or think about what that sacrifice means to you. My philosophy is that the universe, God, is not going to penalize me for showing compassion to another living being. And the point of this video is not that I am some super mega ethical human being and I'm judging those who don't align with me. Not at all. I have not completely eliminated plastic from my life. I have not completely eliminated fast fashion from my life. With my current resources, with my current life situation, I'm doing the best I can. And I will continue bettering myself. I don't want to make something my religion. I don't want to be perfect because that doesn't exist. Neither do I want to attack people who don't align with my idea of conscious consumption. If we all contemplate what conscious consumption or intentional living means to each of us and follow our inner wisdom, our inner spark, I'm sure it'll have a profound effect on our well-being. For me, the same energy that put me on this plant-based journey, that inspired me to create content on YouTube, it's the same energy that encouraged me to speak my truth in this video. And I encourage you to play your conscious role on Earth. Not a role that was handed to you by your family or the government or society, but one that is guided by your inner spark, your consciousness, your light, your soul, your spirit, your higher self, however you want to word it. Thank you for listening. Again, if something came across as judgment, I am sorry, that is not my intention. I speak as a friend. Everyone is a divine, eternal being, regardless of what they eat. We are all having our own unique experiences, and my experience brought me here to talk about it because I genuinely feel that more people need to know about this. Especially if we want to evolve spiritually, if we want to deepen our level of consciousness, then we need to reflect on this. I would love it if you went through the description box below, because I will link some helpful resources there. Thank you again. Bye-bye. And most companies, I've had my tests.